Hey, what is up, guys? It is Poor Master Evan here, and if you couldn't already tell by the thumbnail and title, which I haven't said in a while, today is a really special day, and the reason it's a really special day is we got the official title for the next Transformers movie, which is so crazy for me to say because the last time we had a big news like this for a Transformers live-action movie, it wasn't since 2018 when Bumblebee first came out in December of 2018. And so for us to finally get something new for the Transformers franchise going forward after that is some big news. And the title for Transformers 7 is going to be Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Now, personally, when I first heard the name, I wasn't on board with it. I won't lie. I am a huge Transformers fan, but I was not on board with this when I first heard the title earlier today because I was like, oh no, here we go. This is exactly what I didn't want to happen. They're doing it. Because, little refresher, a couple months ago, a little bit last year, I think, or something like that, there was rumors of both a sequel to Bumblebee, since this is the new universe, no more Bayverse, this is the new universe starting with Bumblebee, and so we were going to have a sequel to Bumblebee, and we were possibly going to have a Beast Wars film, and so I was like, yes, sequel and Beast Wars, because as you guys can tell right here, I love Beast Wars. Beast Wars is literally one of my favorite Transformers shows of all time, and so I was really excited for that. Then months went on, and then there was a rumor of a working title called Transformers Beast Alliance. And I was like, dang, here we go. This is where I didn't want it to go. And there were some rumors of stuff possibly happening and Maximals and all this kind of stuff happening. I didn't bother to believe it because I didn't think it was true. And then we got news today. And I was not really excited at first. I will not lie. I was not very, very excited at first. I wasn't completely on board with it. But then I saw an article from TFW2005.com, which is a very, very reliable source for all Transformers news. I love them so much. That pretty much says, like, a lot of the stuff for the movie, location-wise, some of the characters that are going to be in the movie, which kind of really spoils a lot. Like, they really said a lot today. But it really has me excited now, because it has given me a little bit of reassurance and I'm less worried about how they're going to go about this because of the fact I didn't like the idea of them meshing the established characters and then bringing in Beast Wars out of nowhere with like no context or nothing like that, because they've done this twice. They've done this twice in the past. They did this in one series, the Prime Wars trilogy if I'm not mistaken, where they brought in Optimus Primal out of nowhere, and he was a protector of an artifact. I don't remember what it was. But they brought him in. They didn't have the original voice of him. I think they had Ron Perlman as him, and I love Ron Perlman. He's a fantastic actor and he's great. I love his voice. But I didn't like him as Optimus Primal. It just wasn't Optimus Primal to me. Gary Chalky's Optimus Primal to me. And then fast forward a couple of years ago, they brought Cheetor into the Transformers Cyberverse series, and he was essentially another protector of an artifact, which was the Allspark. And I was just like, oh, come on. I was like, really? Like, I love Beast Wars, so anytime Beast Wars shows up, I'm like, yes, Beast Wars acknowledgement. And this year marks 25 years of Beast Wars, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm like, woo, Beast Wars! So I didn't like the concept of like, oh yeah, you're gonna bring in Optimus Primal and you're gonna bring in Cheetor out of nowhere, which technically these characters are from way in the future. Because here's a little history lesson for those that don't know what Transformers Beast Wars is or are curious before seeing this movie. The Maximals and the Predacons are essentially descendants of the Autobots and Decepticons. They are way in the future. So essentially what sets up the Beast Wars show is Predacons and Maximals, they're fighting, la la la. Predacons steal this artifact called the Golden Disc, which has like a bunch of knowledge. Maximals chase them, they all go through a wormhole. Wormhole sends them to Earth. But it sends them to Earth in the prehistoric past. Fast forward 2 seasons, I think season 2 or season 3, someone's probably going to correct me, and I really hope they do because I haven't watched Beast Wars in a hot second. They find the Ark. They find the Ark and they find the Nemesis, which are the Autobot and Decepticon ships. Because, we're going to go backwards now, in the original G1 series that started Transformers, the Autobots and Decepticons crash landed on Earth millions of years in the past, and they didn't reawake until the early 2000s. So during season 2/season 3 of Beast Wars, the Autobots, not the Autobots, the Maximals and the Predacons essentially find their ancestors. So they find the Autobots and they find the Decepticons pretty much in a dormant sleep. And right there, that lies the issue for me. And it might just be me personally, because of the fact that bringing in Optimus Prime or bringing in Cheetor, who are characters technically way in the future, to bring them to present day with their ancestors, I was just like, what? Like, I was like, really? I don't understand like, there's probably a reason as to why they did, but I just could never get behind it to really understand. Maybe I should go back and relook at it if there really is a reason to it. I just never, like, end of story. I never really liked the concept of it. So anyways, now I'm going to get into the article from TFW 2005, because it pretty much goes into say some of the characters that are going to be in this movie, as well as kind of give a little bit more insight to what we can expect, which kind of has me a little bit less worried about this movie. So without further ado, let's get into this and check this out. So Transformers Rise of the Beasts is the 7th live-action movie from Hasbro, and Paramount is going to be releasing June 24th of 2022. The events of the movie will take place in the year of 1994, which is a couple years after the events of Bumblebee, which took place in the late 80s or mid 80s, if not mistaken. Location-wise, it's going to be taking place in Peru. On location shooting will be taking place in Machu Picchu. It is going to be taking place in Montreal, Canada, actually coming up next week. It is also going to be is going to be shooting in Montreal, Canada, which will be stand-in for Brooklyn, New York. And we didn't even get to the best parts yet. Now here's a little bit of a spoiler warning for those that don't really want to know about these characters yet or anything like that, which you probably would want to, so I'm going to continue. The movie is going to be directed by Stephen Campbell Jr., and he grew up with Beast Wars apparently, which is really dope, because that's something similar to with Travis Knight, who directed Bumblebee. They are fans of the Transformers franchise. They know the lore, they know the story, they know what they're getting themselves into, and so they can be very passionate about the projects. And it's no offense to Michael Bay. Michael Bay created an amazing franchise that really got me into Transformers as a little kid. So it's nothing against him, but this gives me more reassurance that Beast Wars is in the right hands of the right person. As we continue, Maximals and Predacons, Terracons, Autobots, and Decepticons will all be a part of this movie. So we're gonna have the Maximals and Predacons predominantly featured in the movie, also with the Terracons, which the Terracons, if I'm not mistaken, are a branch of the Decepticons, so that's quite a weird concept to bring them in. The Predacons and Terracons are not allies, so they're not together. Terracons are the main baddies of the movie. Predacons are reptilian nature and such like good old Megatron here, and the Predacons are obviously the enemies of the Maximals, going back to their predecessors as the Autobots and Decepticons. Meanwhile, Terracons are the threat to all of them, but more in opposition to the Autobots. So essentially, Terracons aren't on anybody's side. They hate everybody. They hate the Autobots, they hate the Maximals, they hate the Predacons, and probably even the Decepticons. Who knows? So we go into what characters are going to be showing up, and this isn't even all of them, because apparently there's a bunch that haven't been revealed yet. So we have Optimus Prime coming back. Obviously, you gotta have the big man coming back, and Peter Cullen is going to be once again reprising his role, which, thank God, because there's only 3 people that I trust with the voice of Optimus Prime and that I like as the voice of Optimus Prime. Is Peter Cullen, who's the man. He's been voicing him for generations. Then you have Gary Chalk, who does the voice of Optimus Primal, which I hope he's voicing Optimus Primal in this movie. And then you have David Kaye, who's the voice of Megatron, but he also, fun fact, voiced Optimus Prime in the Transformers animated show, which was on Cartoon Network years ago. Then we also have Bumblebee coming back. Bumblebee is going to be a classic Camaro with off-road extensions, which would make sense for Peru. If they're going to these geological sites and all this kind of stuff, he's got to have that off-road, but still be in style. So he's returning. We're going to be having a new version of Mirage coming. Now, I say new version of Mirage because technically Mirage was in Transformers 3 Dark of the Moon. For the Bayverse films, he was Dino, who was that red Corvette, not red Corvette, the red Ferrari with like the curved blades on his arms. So we're getting a new version of Mirage. It goes to say that he's going to be a silver and blue Porsche 911. His characterization is going to be similar to Crosshairs of Transformers 4 and Transformers 5. He's anti-authority, so he could care less about what Optimus Prime says, probably. And he can transform into multiple types of vehicles, similar to how Drift could transform into both a helicopter and a car. So he's essentially going to be a triple changer, I guess. They don't really go into what other vehicle forms he's going to have. RC is also going to be in this. She was briefly shown in the Bumblebee movie, so she will be returning in this movie, which is really great to hear. She is going to be a Ducati 916 motorcycle with a red/rose pink and white highlights, classic head, and she's going to have the racing number on her leg. Then we also have Nightbird, who essentially wasn't a Decepticon but was reprogrammed to be a Decepticon in the original G1 show. I don't know too much about her, I just know that much. So she's going to be in this. She's apparently going to be a Terracon, and her alt mode is going to be a Nissan GTR with purple and gray in color. She is a modernized version of the G1 character, so she still has the face mask and everything, which is really great, and the hoods, so that's good to hear. Then we have Scourge. Now, when I first read about Scourge, I thought of Scourge from the Transformers Cybertron show, who could transform into a Hydra, because that's the one I mostly remember. Then there is Scourge from the G1 show. So I'm curious if maybe this is going to be a crossbreed. Probably not. It's probably going to be more like the G1 version, but kind of different because he's a Terracon and not a Decepticon like he was in the movie. And essentially, he is going to be the leader of the Terracons, and he will be a trophy hunter like Lockdown in Transformers 3 or Age of Extinction. And when he kills, he rips the faction insignia off his victim and tattoos it onto himself. That right there, when I first read that, screamed Killmonger from Black Panther, how he like cut himself for every victim that he killed and such. So essentially, Scourge is just gonna be like, bang, slap that right on his arm, and he's gonna have a new faction on. He's like, ooh, look at that one, put that one on. And so he essentially puts them onto his body. He's got 4 smokestacks on his back. He's got a claw hand with electricity. That's gonna be interesting if it can like all like extend out and kind of like tase someone. That'd be pretty interesting. With black and gray tone with orange pops. He's not a black convoy, but he might be some kind of truck. Then we have Air Razor, who is another one of the Maximals, who I actually have right here on the desk with me. I have not opened her, but as you can see, she transforms into a bird. And it goes to say she's a robotic bird, rusty bird mode, steampunk-esque, so you kind of like see all the gears and all that. I really do like the idea of that. Curious to see how it's actually gonna look. Silhouette is a very real-world bird, but plated/layered, looks old and has been on Earth for a while with blue glowing eyes. That's interesting, going off of her past self. Then we have Rynox, who is one of the main staple Maximals. He's essentially the Ratchet/Ironhide, the muscle and the brain of the Maximal team, and he's gonna be rhino shaped, obviously, it's in the name, Rynox. He's also plated and has a steampunk/rusty look. He's Ironhide like. Once he uses horn again, looks old, like old metal, and has been on Earth for a while. That's the big one that I'm very excited for. Fans have seen Optimus Primal before, because in Transformers Last Night, fun fact again, there was concept art that came out of a version of Optimus Primal, essentially like a big gorilla mode, kind of using the Optimus face for Transformers 4 and 5. So essentially they're going to introduce the Maximals apparently in Transformers Last Night, because there was also a giant anaconda like snake concept as well, and then some recent concept for Cheetor, who would have been in Transformers Last Night, was also released as well. Little fun fact there. Anyways, it's going to be similar to that concept art, but with a lot more fur on him. He's obviously the leader of the Maximals, as he was in the old show as well, and he's very protective of those who are under his protection. You don't mess with Primal. He's rusty on the frame, looks like random patches of skin and fur layered on top, like he's been through some stuff, and he's the leader of the Maximals, equal to the stature of Prime, obviously, because he's the leader. So he's been here for a while. I am really hoping that in this movie they do some fan service and Optimus Primal says, well, that's just Prime, like he did in the show. Then we have our two main leads, our two main human leads that have been announced a little bit ago. We have Dominique Fishbach, who plays Elena, who is a researcher of artifacts, who works at a museum, and her boss keeps stealing her thunder. Then we also have our male lead, who is Anthony Ramos, who is a fantastic singer, fantastic actor. He's going to be playing the character of Noah, who is a father figure to his brother. He's an ex-military trying to find his way. He's also good with electronics, just trying to get by. He was also a Beast Wars guy, which is really great to hear, because more Beast Wars fans, the better. They are both from Brooklyn, so they are really happy to mix Transformers with their real-life neighborhood. And it goes on to say that not all of the characters have been seen yet. All the Maximals are hard to bring to the screen. Rynox wants to smash, but is also the brain of the operation, and which essentially is how he was in the show as well. So it's going to be really interesting. Filming does start next week in Montreal, Canada, so I'm really excited to see if we're going to see any set photos and if there are going to be little teasers coming up very soon for the character reveals, or if we're not going to see character reveals until very late in the year when like the first teaser trailer might drop or something like that. But anyways, guys, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this. I'm really excited for this. I wasn't very, like I said, I wasn't very excited for it when I first heard about the title and everything and first heard the concept of mixing the two, but after reading this article earlier and then rereading it for you here, I'm excited. I will admit I am excited. I'm really curious to see how this is going to go. It has me a lot more anticipated to see how they're going to go. I don't know if it's just because we're finally getting a new Transformers movie after years, or what it is, because being a Beast Wars fan, I'm very protective about Beast Wars because I love the show a lot and I just want to see these characters done properly, and I have very good hope in Stephen Campbell Jr. that he's going to do a fantastic job with this and he's going to deliver something very special and very amazing that might even make me cry when I see it. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope to have more videos like this coming out very soon. I do have a working theory already going with like how the Maximals and Predacons might be resurfaced. So I might have that as a theory video coming a little bit later on, not too soon, who knows. Maybe when production starts I'll have something like that. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like and also put those post notifications on and subscribe to my channel because I'm gonna have a bunch of news for this video hopefully. And as you could have already told from this video, I'm a huge fan of Transformers and I'm very passionate about this franchise. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Master Evan. This has been the first episode, I haven't said it, this has been the first episode of my new series for Transformers, which is just going to be the name of the new movie, which is going to be This is Rise of the Beast #1. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy it. I will see you guys in the next one. This has been Master Evan. Peace out, guys.